of the Red Sea glistened, overlooked in silent vigil by the fortress of Masada. Ahead, Ahmed could see a white vehicle, loosely concealed by a thicket of thorn scrub. "That's one of our jeeps," Shaviz whispered. Ahmed grabbed his rifle as he climbed out of his seat, cocking the weapon and creeping forward in the fading light, the land around him already laced with long blue shadows and the sky above darkening swiftly. Behind him followed Shaviz, treading only where he trod and moving only when he moved. The Bedouin edged forward and caught sight of a small fire flickering in a clearing ahead. Beads of sweat trickled into his eyes. He brought his weapon to bear, one finger hovering on the trigger as his ears strained, but he heard no voices or footfalls as he lowered himself onto one knee at the edge of the thicket. The clearing was 30 feet across, ending in the ragged face of a shallow ridge of sedimentary rock that stretched away to his left. Scattered across the clearing were various devices, including a portable satellite dish, vacuum hoses, and a laptop computer. Shaviz pointed ahead. "She's here. That's the university's equipment. The Bedouin clamped his hand across the academic's mouth and glared at him. Shaviz obediently shuffled back out of sight. Ahmed crept into the camp and saw a discarded mug near the computer. He dipped a finger inside it, and a trace of residual dampness told him what he wanted to know. He moved down the rocky edifice, toward where a soft glow illuminated the sedimentary rock. An unattended phosphorus lamp sat beside a large sheet of plastic, concealing something in the sediment. Ahmed reached down and whipped the plastic sheet aside. He stared at that which lay before him, and then felt a superstitious awe creep like insects across his skin. Shaviz appeared next to him. "Oh my God." Within the rocks was carved a tomb of immense antiquity, partially exposed by tools wielded in someone's patient grasp, and in the tomb were bones. There was no question as to the age of the sediment in which they lay, the levels of strata as ancient as the hills where time had forged them. The remains bore testimony to an enormously powerful creature, the interment a cavity over 8 feet long. The bones were huge, bearing the depressions of tissue anchoring points that suggested immense musculature. Broad hands were clasped neatly across a vast chest. Long legs crossed at the ankle. The body was flat and level, perfectly supported within the sediment in which it had been interred. "Purposefully buried," Shaviz said in wonder, kneeling before the excavation. "How old is it, Sadiqi?" Ahmed asked the professor. "Not less than 7,000 years. It's quite possibly—" The sound of boots crunched on the parched earth behind Ahmed, and he whirled, swinging his rifle up to aim at the figure striding purposefully into the clearing. In the glow of the camp lights, a tall blonde woman dressed in khaki shorts, t-shirt, and bush hat came to an abrupt halt. "What the hell do you think you're doing?" Shaviz stood and pulled his jacket neatly into place as Ahmed lowered the rifle. "I might ask you the same question, Lucy." Dr. Lucy Morgan placed her balled fists on her hips. "Overtime. Who are you?" "Dr. Damon Shaviz. The university has demanded the return of this equipment," he announced, "and your return to Jerusalem immediately." "This equipment is on loan to my survey team." "Indeed it is," Shaviz said as he took a pace toward her. "And that survey was completed 2 days ago in Be'er Sheva. I was on the verge of reporting you missing to the authorities and the equipment stolen." Lucy shrugged. "They don't need any of this right now anyway." "And what are you doing with it, Dr. Morgan? You realize that this is theft, do you not? The university does not condone the use of its resources for personal projects." "Perhaps they would if they knew anything about this," Lucy snapped, and then glanced at the remains nearby. Ahmed watched Shaviz falter, following her gaze. The fastidious little man straightened his tie absent-mindedly and cleared his throat.